My name is Justin, and welcome to Winters. This is another game made by Lazy Tiger, who made Waterborne and Stevens, which were two of my favorite games this year. They were really good. And hopefully this is just as good. There was very little about this game, so I can't even really tell you much because I don't know either. It's something about being lost out in a winter, and there's a cabin or something like that. Oh, are you awake? Yeah, or Wow, these are really descriptive. Let's go with yeah. Was it because of me? I hope I didn't scare you. What was that? What made you say that? Would I be scared by you? Oh, sometimes I seem to have that effect on people. You're too funny to be scary. You're too cute to be scared. You're too beautiful to be scary. Oh, okay. Too beautiful. Hey, Brandon, you awake? We are alone in the room. Oh, where is he? I heard noise coming from upstairs. Maybe he is up there? Really? Why is he upstairs on his own? I heard the voice of girl as well. I don't think he is alone. A girl? Well, yes. Is she the owner of this house? Was she lost in the blizzard too? I'm not sure. Why is he up there with her? I got the impression it was some kind of romantic interlude. Oh, seriously? It is a presumption, but I am somewhat certain. And that doesn't bother you? Well, I can't really see why it's any of my business. I just thought you and he, or I thought that you guys... Did they have something going on? I forget I said anything. It's just that... Screw it. There's something I always wanted to tell you, Sarah. Well, there's something I need to tell you first. Yes? I'm not Sarah. Oh. Didn't mean to startle you. Just, give me a second here. Oh. What the heck? Hello. Hi. This is interesting. I've never seen a visual novel do this before. Before you say anything, I know how strange it must seem. Me, uninvited, sitting next to you in the dark while you're sleeping? But if you would please allow me a moment to explain. Okay. I'm just expecting something to, like, pop out of here. But I haven't seen anything so far, so... My name is Aaron. I'm from around here. I spend all my time outdoors. But I guess I was wandering too little long this time. You need to work on this, my guy. Your grammar. This blizzard was upon me before I even realized. In the darkness, I somehow stumbled across this old house. No one answered when I knocked, but the door opened when I did, and let myself in. Under the circumstances, I didn't think the owners would mind. I heard the sounds of the couple upstairs and was about to call out, but after listening for a moment, I thought it would be ruder to interrupt. So I decided to just sit and wait. Then I discovered you asleep. All of a sudden, I realized how exceptionally lonely I was feeling. And I just really wanted to be near someone. I didn't want to wake you. I just sat down here, hoping you wouldn't mind. No problem, I guess. That's a little weird, but I assume this isn't your house either? That is correct. May I ask how you came to be here? Our story is pretty much the same as yours. Oh. The three of us were out hiking longer than we intended. We were out wandering the woods way longer than we planned. Then this blizzard took us by surprise, too. I see. Came out so suddenly there was nothing about it in the forecast. Never seen it get so dark so quickly. There's something particularly foreboding about it. The worst I have seen in some time. I'm glad we found this house to shelter in. Yes, that's good. Whoa, did you guys see that? She was actually breathing. Look at that. That's really cool. If I may ask, what is it that you have there? Is it a book? Yeah, got stupidly talked into buying it. Oh. Myths and Legends of Blackbriar and Beyond. If there isn't anything here after a while, I'm gonna be really disappointed. Clerk said there were some local tales in it. I see. I had a quick look through it, not sure how interesting it is. I'm not sure how wise a purchase it was. We're gonna select that one. What are some of the tales? Let's see, there's Arya Unending and Her Many Children. I'm not very fond of children. The Reverse Man-Wolf Charles Bellamy. That sounds like possibly the silliest thing ever. Farmer Stanwyck's Haunted Shotgun. I was mistaken. The Tragic Tale of Left Winters. Oh, that sounds interesting. That also has to do with the name of the game, so it must be something. Sure, why not? Let's see, we got the Myths and Legends of Blackbriar and Beyond, Chapter 4, The Tragic Tale of Lef Winters. They say that Lef Winters was born under a cursed moon, that her mother didn't survive giving birth, and her father couldn't survive without his wife. That Lef barely survived the orphanage she ran away from, much less the life of prostitution she fell into afterwards. Ooh, that doesn't sound fun. And her pimp didn't survive the night. He finally went too far, but Lef did, however, survive in the woods she fled to and took refuge in afterwards. They, in this case, were the townsfolk of Trailsend, a small settlement that bordered the woods Lef lived in, and they had largely forgotten that everything they knew about Lef was all born from rumor and gossip. Lef never spoke a word to dispel the beliefs. In fact, Lef never spoke a word at all while she was in town. It was unclear whether Lef was born mute or became so out of the trauma she had experienced. And with her being unable or unwilling to confirm or deny said trauma, the assumptions eventually became accepted. Trailsend wasn't without its eccentrics and outsiders. Even with the intrigue, Lef would have been dismissed as an odd but harmless recluse if it hadn't been for her appearance. Despite her being unkept, she was strikingly beautiful. Gosh, I'm adding things that aren't there. With dark, deep eyes, ruby red lips, and exquisite, if generally a little grubby, skin. The attention she drew from the sons and husbands of Trailsend did not go unnoticed by the womenfolk. Lef herself was not unaware, being careful not to cause or attract any trouble whenever in town. She would trade the seeds, berries, and other things she collected in the woods and managed to coexist peaceably with Trailsend and its inhabitants. One early morning, the more keen-eyed among the town's gossips noticed Lef's figure changing. Speculating she was with child, Lef found more and more unwelcome attention fixated on her on each trip to town. Over time, it became apparent that Lef was indeed pregnant. Oh, I thought the plot twist was she's just getting really fat from eating. And talk spread like wildfire through the town. Speculation as to the identity of the father was a topic on everyone's lips. Every woman suspicious and every man suspect, which, true to form, Lef did nothing to quell, making no attempt to provide any answers and ignoring any and all attempts at an inquiry. I wonder who would have, the thing with her if she doesn't talk to anybody. So the people came to their own conclusions. Some said it was obviously woodsman Danthers, as there was no one from the town who spent more time in the woods than he. Others suspected Mayor Rigby, who was known for his less than scrupulous behavior. Even others, Father Nathaniel, who was inversely known for being nothing but scrupulous. The less gracious of the gossipers opened that Lef was raped by bandits, which of course she brought in. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to press that. Brought in on herself by living alone without the protection of a husband. Now there was the overzealous among the population who were convinced Lef was carrying the child of none other than Lucifer himself. Wow, that's a pretty. Here, I'm gonna go to get rid of that. The idea was largely dismissed, at least at first. Lef was already becoming unpopular under the weight of so much suspicion. Yet then things started going wrong around town. Strange accidents, spoiling food, lame animals, all with a frequency that made it increasingly impossible to dismiss as coincidence. It wasn't long before the townspeople started believing they were cursed, and they quickly concluded what the source of the curse was. The next time Lef visited Trailsend, the people made it clear that, in no uncertain terms, that she was no longer welcome. Oops. Sorry about that. Exiled and friendless, Lef did her best to brace for the trials ahead, but nothing could have prepared her for the harshness of the winter that was to greet her, and the newborn. The little the woods offered her was soon frozen under the unrelenting snow. She did her best, as she could, with what she had. Her incredible resourcefulness and resilience brought her much further than many others, but without any support, the unfamiliarity of motherhood took its toll. After all the years prevailing against the odds, this was one situation she wasn't going to survive. If not for her child, she may have resigned herself to fate. Desperation continually convinced her to seek out help from those that hated her. I like how we're just casually reading this book while she's just sitting there. I don't know if we're actually reading it to her or if she's just sitting there while we're just talking to ourselves reading this. We're just like, oh yeah, this is a good book. This is an interesting story. The journey to town usually took an hour or so, but with the snow hampering visibility and restricting movement, the sun was setting well before Lef reached the town gate. The darkness to follow was the blackest in memory, but by pure determination and perhaps some miracle, Lef made it to the village, clutching her child to her breast. To Lef's dismay, she found all the public places were shut. The tavern, the lodging house, even the church was dark and silent. She would have to turn to the residence. Lef went from house to house, knocking on doors and windows. Those that actually opened their doors immediately slammed it in her face, or berated her for bringing the curse upon them. Door after door was shut to her. Realizing that no one would be willing to give her quarter, she started to hold out the small bundle of blankets instead. pleading with her eyes just to save her child if it weren't willing to save her, but none would. Fear and suspicion had left the townspeople as cold and callous as the winter consuming them. Finally, with the last door closed her, left staggered to the town square, wailing hopelessly. The desperation, animosity, and biting cold exhausting her completely. Knowing her end was near, she filled her lungs with what would be her last breath and screamed into the night with the last of her strength. "Let her in!" The whole town heard the cry, even above the howling wind. Then all was silent. An unnatural, eerie stillness fell on the town. No one slept that night. All were uneasy and disturbed. When lights finally returned in the morning, they found the snow had stopped falling for the first time in weeks. Slowly, people started venturing out to the safety of their homes, and they found exactly what they were expecting. Left's body, frozen solid, hunched over protecting her child. Nobody dared touch her, even to discover the fate of the baby. Finally, Father Nathaniel arrived after pushing through the crowd, rushed to Left's side. With great effort, he pried the bundle from Left's petrified grasp. Wow, this is actually a lot of reading, more than I thought. The blankets cracked from the cold as he unwrapped them. There was nothing inside. Everyone was terrified. Over the coming days, speculation ran hot among the villagers. Had anyone actually seen the child? Did anyone see a face in the bundle desperately offered at their doorstep that night? Did it even exist? The father attempted to bury Left in the cemetery, but the people, now more convinced of a curse than ever, wouldn't let him. A mob seized the body, took it out of town, and burned it. Horrified by everything that had transpired and the people's behavior, Nathaniel left Trailsend not long after, shaking the dust from his feet as he went. 3 months passed, and the disturbing events began to fade from the collective conscious. Even though at night people would often hear scratching and knocking at their windows, but finding no one there on an inspection. It was easy enough to dismiss it on the windy nights, much less when all was still. Then children started going missing, mysteriously and without a trace. 1 at first, then 2 within a week. Then the Danthers twins disappeared a month later. Then another, and by the anniversary of Left's death, there wasn't a single child left in Trailsend. Sick with grief and fear, the population quickly dwindled, until finally the last few remnants abandoned Trailsend, leaving it to ruin. The exact location of Trailsend is lost to time. The towns and cities of Blackbriar aren't short of mysterious happenings. It is entirely possible one of them is built on the long deserted remains. So if you find yourself on Blackbriar on a dark, snowy night, and there's a knock on your window, it may not just be the wind. that window. Hello? Hello? That was quite a tale. Did you hear that? This game's gonna scare me, isn't it? I swear someone knocked. Perhaps it was just the wind. I'm gonna get freaking scared. I don't want to see what's out the window. I don't know. This window scares me. It's just dark and there's nothing, and you don't look too helpful. You look very unnatural. You don't fit in here. I don't scare easily. I'm not scared. I'm scaring myself. Oh my gosh. No. Okay. When she looked at the window and I had my light on her, I was getting scared. I'm like, oh no, what's at the window? Made by Lazy Tiger. I have no idea if there's a second ending. Let's go ahead and read about this, okay? This visual novel came about while experimenting with ideas for a Waterborne sequel and expanding my Renpy skills, as well as wanting to bash out an entry for the Winter Visual Novel Jam. This game organically went in a dark, sinister direction, and even though I was trying to do something a little bit more lighthearted, instead of trying to beat it into something... Oh, isn't this the same message from Stevens? I don't think it was intended for Stevens, because it really threw me off. I was like, is Stevens supposed to be a dark game? But I decided to work some of the experimentation into a separate game and forge with this one. I challenged myself to not draw any of the assets and only use source photography. I also challenged myself to produce the whole thing without using any Adobe software. It made the experience a lot more arduous, but it was fun trawling through Unsplash and getting more familiar with Affinity and Clip Studio Paint. If interested, you can check out Winter's sprightly sister as well as other Lazy Tiger stuff. Yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend all Lazy Tiger's games. As far as I know, he only has Waterborne and Stevens besides this, and I played both of those on my channel, so you can either watch them or play them for yourself on Lazy Tiger's itch.io page. They're great. But that was an interesting game. I was very much expecting it to scare me. It definitely seemed like there was about to be a jump scare, but it turns out there wasn't one. I don't know if there's a second ending. If there was, I'll probably make a separate video for it, but I don't know how you would get the other ending. Maybe Laser Tiger knows. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. That was Winners. That was a nice, interesting horror, scary game for winter. I wasn't expecting that, but have a good one, you guys.